Welcome back, my friends, to episode 2 of my series on how to build an amazing home gym. So in part 1, we talked about the space requirements, things you should consider before you buy your gym. And in this part, we're going to talk about basic equipment. We've established that you have a space that is suitable for a gym, and now we're going to talk about what you need to make that gym, what you should buy, what you should look for, what you should avoid, and where to get this stuff. So, the first thing you need to be asking yourself is, well, gee, I'm going to make a gym. What kind of training am I going to be doing? If you are making a gym and you've been working out for a while, you're somewhat advanced, somewhat knowledgeable, you know what kind of training you're going to be doing. You know what kind of equipment you typically use at a gym. You know what to get. If you're new to this and you don't really know what kind of training you're going to be doing, maybe you've never had a gym membership before and you just want to get started, then I have some very, very simple basic requirements I would suggest. First thing I would suggest is a rack of some sort. So depending upon your level, if you're young or if you're healthy, if you have an athletic background, if you feel like you have a full range of motion, then I would recommend starting with basic compound lifting. So a power rack, a half rack, anything like this that allows you to put the bar up high for squatting, down low for bench pressing, rows, things of that nature. Pull-up bars are always a plus. Something like that is going to be perfect. You want that? You want a barbell, you want weights to go onto the barbell, and you want a bench. Okay? This is the first piece to the puzzle for 80% of people. Okay? If you have maybe arthritis, if you have some injuries, if you're older, if you just don't feel comfortable doing compound lifting or free weight lifting with a barbell, then consider buying a nice home gym system. I do not have something like that because I prefer compound lifting. I prefer using free weights. I prefer squatting and bench pressing and deadlifting. But if you're not comfortable with that, or if you can't do that, and if you're not sure, you should ask your doctor or go get a fitness assessment at a local rec center or something and have them look at your mobility, have them look at your strength, figure out where you're at. If you're not comfortable with that, buy a home gym. Buy something like a Bowflex or a Vectra. PowerTech makes some really nice home gyms. All right, they're usually in the shape of an L, like the one I used to have. It kind of fits in the corner, and it will have basic exercises for all kinds of things you can do. If you're buying one of those and you are either injured or you're not planning on moving to compound lifting, then that might be all you need, honestly. You could buy a light set of dumbbells, a rack like this, maybe not up to 50 pounds, maybe something a little smaller. Dumbbells are always good, but for most of us, this is where you start, all right? You want an adjustable bench, a power rack, a barbell, and plates to go on the barbell. That's it. The next step that you might want to consider is cardio. This is number 2. I know we love weightlifting, we hate cardio, but you got to do it, people. Cardio is really important for your health, and I love this wind bike. This is an assault bike. It is like the Cadillac of air bicycles, uses wind resistance to generate resistance. So the harder you pedal, the harder it gets. And I do sprints on this after every workout. I'll do like 30-second sprints, or I'll do like a half mile as quick as I can just to get my heart rate up. It's amazing. It burns fat. Consider something like that. It's nice and low impact. You can also get an elliptical if you have bad knees. If you really want a treadmill, you can get a treadmill, but get a nice one that has shock absorbers. I think treadmills are incredibly boring. Another great piece of cardio equipment is a rower machine. That's where you sit down, you have the bar, and you pull it. It's like rowing a boat. Incredible upper and lower body cardio training. That's why I like this assault bike, because you can pedal with just your feet, but it also has these handles, which is really cool. But you can use your upper and your lower body on this. That's why it's great. That's why I love it. Like I said, dumbbells, no matter who you are, no matter how fit you are, most people can use dumbbells. They come in all kinds of different weights. If you got the money for it, buy a complete set. All right, they're nicer, they're easier to use, they're quicker. If you're on a little bit more of a budget, or if you like lifting heavier dumbbells, but you don't want to buy the heavier dumbbells because that gets really expensive when they get heavy, consider buying power blocks. Nordic Track makes an adjustable set, and so does Bowflex. Yes, the Bowflex Select Tech. If you are planning on lifting heavy, all right, so if you're a young man or a middle-aged man or even an older man and you want to get strong, even if you, I shouldn't say that, if you're a woman and you want to get strong, you will need heavier than 50 pounds, all right, for things like chest presses, back rows. I use heavier weights than that for shoulder press. So that set goes up to 70 pounds, and I will be buying the expansion that goes up to 90. Most of the adjustable dumbbells don't get heavier than 90 pounds, which, I mean, 90 pounds is pretty adequate. I can chest press that and I can row it, but I don't really see a need to ever go heavier than 90. I would do more reps. It's as simple as that. So aside from that, a couple important pieces of equipment that are kind of like details that I would recommend are, first of all, safety pins. All right, so let me move this thing out of here. So these are adjustable safety pins. They go up and down. They have a 600-pound weight capacity, and there's 2 of them. What you do, if you only have a half rack like I do, if I'm squatting, obviously, if I fail on a repetition and I don't have a spotter, there's nowhere for me to drop down and catch the bar. Okay, I could lean forward and catch it on these. Whoa! I could lean forward and catch it on these, but I don't really want to take that risk. So I put the safety pins on either side of me, and I set them just below my squat depth, so that if I ever do fail on a heavy squat, I can just drop down and set the bar right on the pins, and it gives me peace of mind. I can also use it for bench pressing. Plus, I can also pull them out, set them at a nice low setting, and set the bar on it, and use it as another stand for a barbell if I'm doing rows or curls. And I can set up a bar in the cage and a bar on the pins and do like a circuit with my 2 barbells, because I have 2. So nice thing to have. That pair was like $70. They were on Amazon. I can't find them anymore, but there's a lot of brands that make safety bars like that are adjustable. It's a good thing to have if you work out alone frequently. Another thing you might want to consider, this is not necessary, but cables. So this is like the cheapest possible high point cable you can get. It's complete garbage. I hate it. It's cracked at the base, so I can't really use it anymore. I might try to weld it and fix it, or I might just throw it out. I haven't decided yet, because I'm gonna buy a much nicer one. But let me tell you, for the first couple years, this did the trick. You put little plates on here, and you use gravity. You can do lat pulls, you can do tricep extensions, you can do face pulls, all kinds of great things. A cable is a nice thing to have. It's a nice way to change up the resistance. It's a good way to add variety into your programming. Getting a cable is a good idea. I would recommend buying a nice lat pull. You can go on Amazon and search cable lat pulls, and there's ones that have high point pulleys and a low point pulley, so you can do back rows and arm exercises as well. Again, that's a detail. Start with the power rack, but a cable machine's a nice thing to have. If you have lots of money, you can buy actual machines like a leg press. You could get like a glute ham bench, something like that would be wonderful. I would love to have a nice back extension down here. I use the exercise ball and I do body weight variations for my lower back, so I manage, but eventually, when I have more space, I will get a glute ham bench. Now when it comes to accessories, there's a lot of different things you can choose from. If you like to lift heavy and do compound lifts and deadlift and you train for strength, get a weightlifting belt. Get a nice one. This is an Inzer. It was $100, but I love it and it does its job very well. I have chains that I put on my barbell when I bench press sometimes. So I have weights that swing and hang off the barbell to change up the resistance patterns. I have a weighted belt that I can put plates on and do, the bike just turned off, that I can attach plates to, and I do pull-ups and dips with added weight. I have a weighted vest that I sometimes do sprints and pull-ups in. I have An easy bar for curls. I have a multi-grip barbell that I use for rowing. I use it for neutral grip bench pressing. I use it for curls. This is a Valor. There are nicer brands. This one has some weight balance problems. The Valor multi-grip barbell. Sorry, Valor. I do like most of your stuff, but I would not recommend this to a friend. I have an extra barbell. This is the first one I bought. It's a piece of garbage. I don't use it anymore, but it's special to me. If you have a sensitive back, or if you don't have big traps to set your barbell on when you're squatting, get a barbell pad. There's no shame. I have a punching bag and gloves, but I just don't have anywhere to hang it yet. I haven't gotten around to it. Great way to get cardio. Again, these are all details. I'm just showing you guys because I can. I don't consider them essential. I do have a preacher pad right here that I use for bicep curls, and I do have a leg extension and a leg curl. All right, so this has an Olympic plate holder, and I do my leg curls and my leg extensions. It's useful. It is a good thing to have for isolating those muscles. The squat just doesn't do as good of a job at isolating, so it's nice to have those. With a bench like this Power Tech right here, you see this attachment? You can buy a leg curl and leg extension attachment that plugs in there. The Power Tech workbench is a great investment because you can buy a preacher pad for it. You can buy dip bars for it. You can buy the leg curl and the leg extension for it. There's all kinds of accessories that you can add so that you don't have to buy like a piece of equipment with a seat and the preacher pad and all that. You can save space by buying all the attachments for the bench. Over here, I just have a few extra accessories. I have a bin. I keep extra clips in there. I have an ab wheel. This is great. I have push-up bars that I don't really use. I have some cable attachments for my cable machines, extra clips, ankle straps, things of that nature. I have a foam roller. It's great for mobility. Some yoga mats, a medicine ball, my tape measure, my BMI. I've got lifting gloves and straps in there. I have disinfectant wipes and a CPR mask as well as a first aid kit. A must-have if you're a trainer. I do have some resistance bands. I don't really use them except with clients. And that's really it as far as the equipment goes. I also have TRX bands. These are really great if you are recovering from an injury or you're post-op or you just don't have a full range of motion and you don't want to do free weight compound lifting. You can use those handles to do squats. TRX bands are wonderful for clients. They're my favorite thing for helping clients get their full range of motion, their mobility back. And I also have ab straps that I hang from the pull-up bars to do hanging knee raises. So again, those are all optional. You really only need a barbell and some weights and, a bench to get started, to be honest. You can do it with dumbbells too. But this is it. This is the equipment. This is what I use every day. I have literally thousands of possible exercises that I can do between everything I just showed you. And it all fits in this tiny little room. Consider buying some kind of storage unit, like the shelf and the crate. You'll need it if you end up with this much stuff. So, I've been talking for a long time, showing you all my stuff. Really fun show and tell. But real quick, before we go, where did I get all this? Where should you buy it? What should you look for? What kind of brands should you trust? Let's get into it. First of all, I do not endorse any particular brands. I don't get paid by any of them. I'm not an affiliate. I just buy what works. I have many different brands in here. I have Assault, I have Valor, I have Intech, Troy, Cap, Power Tech, Marcy, you name it. I have everything. I bought most of it on Craigslist. All right, there's an app called OfferUp, and there's another app that's very similar called Let Go. I have both of them. I check them almost daily for deals on fitness equipment. These dumbbells, that's a really expensive set. I got an incredible deal on it. I bought them used, drove up to Cleveland. I got the bench used. I got that whole piece right there. It is a bench press, but I only use it for the preacher pad, and I kind of use it as a rack for equipment. I bought that used. All of my plates here and on that weight tree, I bought used. I got an incredible deal on the weight plates. I would never buy plates from a store. Don't ever do it. Buy them off Craigslist, okay? Because it doesn't matter if they're beat up. You can repaint them. It's not that hard. And unless this person was taking a hammer to them and chipping chunks off, their weight doesn't change. Their value never decreases, but the amount you pay for them is like double at a store. So just buy them used. It's such a good deal. I would not recommend buying a barbell used. Most people don't sell a good barbell because you should never sell a good barbell. A good barbell will last your entire lifetime. It'll last your child's lifetime. They can pass it on to their grandchildren. Good barbells don't break, okay? They have like 1,000 pound weight capacities. People only sell shitty barbells, so don't buy a used barbell. This is an X-Mark Voodoo bar. I bought it on Amazon. It was under $200. Probably the best investment in this entire gym. Buy yourself a nice barbell and take pride in it. It is your central piece of equipment. All right? It's like a soldier in his gun. All right? A weightlifter in his barbell. Just respect it. Invest in it. The only things I did buy new were the assault bikes. I bought the power blocks new just because they're hard to find. People don't sell them. And people who do sell them, they don't have the 90-pound variation. They only have the smaller ones. Check Craigslist. Check eBay for pickup only. Check OfferUp. Check LetGo for used equipment. You'll be amazed at what kind of stuff you can find. When you get there, check it thoroughly. Check the prices online. Make sure you're getting a good deal. Make sure it's not worn. Check all the functions. Make sure there's no pieces missing. But you can find some pretty good deals on lifting equipment using those sources. Whenever you buy something new, you want to check the weight capacity, especially for benches and power racks. If it's really cheap, you definitely want to check the weight capacity, especially if you're going to be lifting heavy. Because if it doesn't hold up under weight, you could literally die. If you went to Dick's Sporting Goods and you bought an $80 Marcy or Bowflex bench, okay, and you put it under there, and you have me bench press 300 pounds, and that bench breaks, I could die. That bar could land on my neck and kill me. It's not a joke. So buy a strong bench if you're going to be benching heavy. Buy a nice power rack if you're going to be squatting heavy. Do not mess around with this stuff, guys, especially if you work out alone. Be safe. That's like the first consideration. Additionally, if you don't feel like using those online sources or those apps, you can check like a local Goodwill. Sometimes they have weightlifting stuff. You can check online for a weightlifting or exercise equipment consignment shop. Sometimes there's big warehouses where people can drive and take their equipment and they just resell it with a slight markup. There are some pretty big stores that do that, and you can find really good deals on used equipment at those places. You can also buy new from an actual retailer. Most of the stuff you're going to find at like Dick's Sporting Goods, Dunham's, MC Sports, places like that. A lot of it is really cheap, and it's not suitable for heavy lifting, and it's just not going to last. I'm sorry. I have bought a few things at a Dunham Sports, but I have never bought weights. I've never bought like racks or equipment at a Dunham's because the stuff is cheap. If you go in the store and sit on it, it wobbles. All right, when you're bench pressing 200 pounds, you don't want a bench that wobbles. You really don't. You want to buy nice stuff. So one more time, if you buy your stuff used, you can find amazing deals, but research it online. Read the reviews online. Make sure it's a nice piece of equipment. Check the specs. Measure it. Make sure it fits. And when you go look at it, test it and make sure it's sturdy before you buy it. You don't want cheap equipment. There are certain things you can go cheap on. You can go cheap on medicine balls. You can go cheap on exercise balls. You can go cheap on your weight plates. But do not go cheap on a bench. Do not go cheap on a power rack. Don't even go cheap on an exercise bike. If you're going to be doing sprints on it and it has plastic parts, you're going to break it. This thing is all metal. So invest in nice stuff. Buy good equipment. Buy stuff that you're going to use. And before this video just gets way too long, that's it. I hope this was helpful. In part 3, I'm just going to quickly go over some more minor details, some tips, some practical suggestions that I have for you, some ideas, a little bit of creativity, some things to think about when you're building your gym. And if you enjoy this series, let me know by leaving a like and a comment. I'll talk to you guys next time. Good luck. Bye.